the number one principle is how the heck are we going to grow food without disturbing the soil?
Anybody's ever used organic vegetables, there's a big difference in flavor. Flavor just pops.
The three labels that are there are Sunset Cellars, Blacksmith Cellars, and King Andrews Vineyard.
Regenerative agriculture is the idea of using the architecture of nature to grow our food and increase the fertility. We can extract calories from our property, in our case 21 acres, and export that to customers, but at the same time, every year after year, our property becomes more fertile, has more life-giving capacity, has more water-holding capacity. Agriculture is mostly a degenerative process, and it's usually extractive. Much property that's under agriculture management is actually losing fertility year after year rather than gaining. Overreaching principle would be minimal disturbance. Tillage is not the friend of the farmer or the soil or the earth. Tillage is, while it's hardwired in our brains as to be a noble process, every time we flip over that soil and destroy the home of those microbes, we are actually destroying the soil ecology. So, well, we have hospitality, we have guest rooms, Airbnb, and we also have, we have farm events. We have farm tours for kids on Wednesdays. We have wine tastings and farm tours on Saturday for adults. We have classes and sourdough bread making. So all kinds of events. If you look at the Be Love Farm website, there's lots going on there. Today it's butternut squash and arugula for pesto and some zucchini and some figs and some pears and some sun sprouts, I believe.
260 Kitchen Bar, the name comes from the address, 260 Pittman Road. And the menu is about, my 24 years in the culinary industry. So I worked at a French restaurant, Italian, American. Got to work at Food and Wine, Pebble Beach. Got to work at Super Bowl 50s. That was exciting. I did go to Culinary Academy, so I constantly trained French chef. So that's a lot of influence in that. I am Filipino, so I throw a lot of Filipino flavors in there too. We're going to be working with a pork tenderloin, and then there's a lot of fall flavors like the butternut squash, the figs. And you still got a lot of the summer stuff too, like the pears, the zucchini and squash, and then the sunflower sprouts. So everything complements each other, not fighting each other. So the pork tenderloin is a little thinner. It's not the pork loin, so it's a lot more tender, a lot more juicier. And then what I did was I marinated that overnight with arugula pesto. You got a yellow squash and zucchini squash with a thin cut. I made this butternut squash puree right here, and it's food processor, basically salt and manufacturing cream. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat that up. Another component is figs. So basically what I did with the figs is I cut them in quarters to get a nice chewiness to it, a lot of sweetness to it. The pears, and then another component here is a charred celery, and it gives it a nice texture when you're eating the whole dish, and then a little bit of smokiness to it. All right, so that's all the components to it. What we're going after is a really, really hot pan because we want to put a hard sear on it. And the reason why you want to put a hard sear on it is because you want the pork tenderloin to be moist on the inside. Next thing, with the pickled pears, the figs, and then the charred celery. And basically we're gonna warm that up. And I've also gotten the butternut squash puree. Now we're gonna plate. What you're doing is basically laying up. I'm gonna be putting the pork loin. So you get a nice distribution of colors. And then we got the figs. For a little more color, a little more microgreens. And voila, that's the dish. That's a Arugula Crescent Pesto, and it's got amazing produce from V-Love Farms.
This amazing dish, I think it goes really well. I think it's like pork tenderloin is sort of a versatile meat, right? You can actually pair lighter red wine or white wine with it. It's a shared tasting room that the three wineries come together, and we rotate the tasting staff. So we open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on a given day, when you come, you will actually find the actual winemaker, the grower, or the owners there. We really build up the outdoor space, which I think I really quite love. The three labels that are there are Sunset Cellars, Blacksmith Cellars, and King Andrew's Vineyard. You know, we are really hands-on winemaking. We do everything mostly by hand, just really get a sense of what's going on. It depends on the style of and the philosophy of the winery. So each of the three wineries is slightly different. Blacksmith, for example, is a winemaker, so he doesn't grow any fruit. Therefore, I think his offering tend to change year to year, depends on what fruit is best. King Andrews, on the other hand, he is a grower. He's a grower first, so his offering tends to be more consistent. So, for example, he has white wine, this Albarino, that's amazing, and it's always going to be there. All three of us make Cabernet Sauvignon. Sunset Cellars, this Cabernet Sauvignon Afterglow that we're offering is the vineyard that we manage ourselves. So we do have that consistently, as well as Barbera, which is our flagship wine.